Lady Karen cried the warning to a town about her fate.
If she is a martyr, she's a people's martyr and a union martyr.
She was a sort of symbol, a Joan of Arc in a way.
Once Karen set her sights on something, she was very strong-willed.
Karen Silkwood took on one of the biggest companies in America.
If Kerr McGee had made her mad about something, she was antagonistic, and the risk wouldn't have mattered to her if she'd have done anything.
She felt a moral obligation to do whatever she possibly could to try and see that things were improved there.
If she could do it all over again and knowing what the outcome was going to be, would she still be as willing to give up everything for what she believed in?
I just hate people talking about me that way.
Karen, the company's got to blame somebody, otherwise it's their fault.
In 1983, Karen Silkwood's tragedy became a cause célèbre.
They're trying to kill me.
Hollywood had transformed her ordeal into a hit film starring Cher, Kurt Russell, and Meryl Streep in the title role. The movie, which earned Streep an Oscar nomination, told the story of a lone woman crusading against America's nuclear power industry. It turned Karen Silkwood into a modern-day martyr.
But what it does is tells you what kind of person Karen Silkwood was and what kind of people evolve into mythical heroes and real heroes. She's both.
In February 1946, as Texans were easing back to civilian life after World War II, a young housewife named Merle Silkwood gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Karen. Shortly after Karen was born, Merle and her husband Bill settled in Nederland, a small town east of Houston, surrounded by oil refineries. Merle got a job as a bank teller and Bill as a union painter. Over the next 12 years, the couple had two more daughters, Rosemary and Linda. The precocious Karen often took care of her little sisters.
Mom worked, so Karen was a lot of times in charge when she was gone. Her daddy was working too. And so she just mainly looked after us like a mother would. She taught me how to tie a bow when I was probably about 5 years old, using my Easter bunny I received for Easter.
She was friendly and helped the other children, and she tutored a little boy down the street from us because he wasn't doing good in his classwork.
The spunky young Karen was a familiar sight in Nederland, playing tennis with her friends and riding her bike around town. She was an adventurous tomboy who never spent much time on her appearance. She didn't have to. She was a natural beauty.
What I remember about Karen was her hair and her skin, mostly. It was the darker olive skin, and then when she smiled, her teeth were just white. And I thought that that was just really beautiful.
She wasn't the type to sit around and worry about brushing her hair or putting her makeup on, or wouldn't go out of the house because she didn't have her makeup on. She wasn't that type of person. She was more interested in taking care of business.
Karen loved music and learned to play the flute in 4th grade. She played in the band all the way through her senior year at Nederland High. Band wasn't the only activity that kept young Karen busy. The straight-A student had a steady boyfriend, played on the volleyball team, and belonged to the National Honor Society and Science Club. Karen's father encouraged all of her endeavors.
She was a lot like my dad in a way that she used to love to go out to his camp with him. She enjoyed the outdoors.
Her father also coached her in her favorite subjects, math and science. So when Karen had the chance to take chemistry, the determined teenager insisted she was up to the challenge, even though she'd be the only girl in class.
She never let adversities get in her way. You know, she didn't let people, what they thought, like all the other girls, why would you want to take chemistry? That's just, you should be in home economics, not chemistry, right?
Karen's parents sometimes worried about their daughter's headstrong attitude.
She had her own ideas of how to do things, and she was disobedient and nothing. She liked to do things her way.
She was like her father. She was a very stubborn person. When she got hold of something, she just hung on like a pit bull.
While Karen wasn't afraid to take risks, she was still a typical teenage girl.
What we did back then was you either got married right out of high school or you went to college long enough to find a husband.
One summer, Karen volunteered as a candy striper at Mid-Jefferson County Hospital. Her parents urged her to go into nursing, a traditional career for young women. Karen had her own ideas and set her sights on becoming a medical researcher. She graduated from high school with honors in June 1964 and won a scholarship to Lamar University's Institute of Technology in Beaumont. She would be the first in her family to attend college.
It was a big accomplishment for her to receive a scholarship, and she was very proud. We were all very proud of her.
But Karen's life on the academic track would soon be derailed. That summer, she stayed with her grandparents in East Texas. One Sunday at church, she met a 17-year-old named Bill Meadows who was visiting from California. For Karen, a small-town girl who longed to see the world, Bill was intriguing. The teenagers immediately hit it off.
She had jet black hair, real dark complexion. She looked like a little Indian girl more than anything else. And she was real sexy. She was a good-looking gal.
Karen and Bill's attraction turned into a summer romance.
She was a little bit more outgoing than most of the girls were back in those particular days. She pretty well said what was on her mind, and she was game to try just about anything you wanted to do.
In August, the young couple parted ways. Bill left to finish high school, and Karen went back to Nederland to start college. They wrote letters to each other over the winter. Then in 1965, at the end of Karen's freshman year, Bill returned for her. Without a word to anyone, Karen skipped town with him, hoping to marry in Louisiana. But they were too young, and no one would perform the ceremony.
Without me being 21, they weren't going to let us get married. And since we hadn't told anybody we were leaving except my granddad, we decided it'd be easier to just go back and tell him we'd gotten married while we were gone, and that's exactly what we did.
The couple returned to Texas and told everyone they knew that they were married. In her headlong rush to start a new life with Bill, Karen Silkwood shocked her family and gave up her college scholarship. But marriage and motherhood turned out to be more than Karen bargained for.